what as fishermen do we have to do? Do we got to unite this whole country, every fisherman in this country, and get people, get lobbyists, TV commercials, just get out there and let people know what's going on? I mean, we got a great jump start with the Deadliest catch. Now we just got to get people to act. And how do we get them to act? I mean, what are we going to tell them? Join our associations, join the Commercial Fishermen of America. I mean, how do we get America involved in this? It is their fishery. I mean, we're their access to the resource, so.
Well, and obviously we want to keep the resources. That
Absolutely.
is the goal. I think, you know, when I look back just a few years ago, before the show even started, all the fishermen in the United States, it was just these little tiny political groups. And I know that if they were to band as one, and I know CMA, that's why I joined, because they want to unionize, they want to get health care for fishermen. And so I think that if we all came together under one umbrella, obviously we would have that power, and I think we could change things for the better. That's the whole idea. You know, I wouldn't have joined if I didn't think it was for a good cause. And so that's what needs to happen. Once that happens and the fishermen really unite, I think the people can then help us. You know, I mean, obviously a vote counts here and there, and they can do a lot of good. I mean, you know, you never get anything done by just sitting back in the shadows.
And that's why I came out and just did this documentary on my own. But what do you say to people that say, oh, fishermen just want to go out there and catch every last fish, and they want to rape the ocean? I mean, does that make any sense when you got $1 million, $2 million boat? Do you want to go put yourself out of business next year so your investment and your livelihood is worth nothing?
No, it's an insult to me. It really is. I mean, I get very aggravated when I think about, especially, you know, if there's a fishery out there, and then you've got other fisheries that are directly impacting because of predation, and it's hurting, like the crab fisheries or whatever species. It bothers me because we've been so conservative. You know, the feds are ultra conservative right now, and it's not a win-win. And it should be a win-win for everybody, and there's a way to get there.
Right.
So it's an insult. The last thing I want to do is hurt my future or my family's future, and then on. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And America needs to know that, you know, fishermen are the greatest environmentalists you'll ever see. I mean, when I was a little kid, the first thing I had to do, 12 years old, was jump in the pile, throw all the little flounders over, the striped bass, this and that, so everything would swim away and live. That's what my father bred into me as a kid fishing. And now, what we see, like you said, with the predation and everything else, I mean, it's just mind-boggling because it's almost out of our hands.
Sure. Well, and there's no common sense either. I mean, the problem is, too, when you get these rules and regulations and the feds are, you know, and I understand they have to do that to be conservative, but then it's so overkill that it's just a slap in the face for everybody. You know, like I said, common sense goes a long way, always has.
And a lot of the information that America has been getting about the fisheries has been misleading from environmental groups that are just furthering their cause, because in being an environmentalist is a business, just like fishing's a business. And, you know, like we just said, we want to keep fish in the ocean. We want it to be sustainable. We want to feed America.
Sure.
But we have to make a living too. I mean, we have to, you know, boats are expensive, fuel's expensive. We need to balance that. And right now, like you said, common sense is the biggest problem with government, is having common sense.
Exactly. And when you talk about environmentalist, I feel like I'm more an environmentalist than anybody. And the guys that are in some of these groups are so often left or right field that it's scary. It's scary.
Because there's a lot of money behind them.
And, you know, no offense to them, but I mean, we're out there, we see what's going on. We don't just believe one thing, we see it.
Right.
Every day, and that's the difference.
And you know, if a stock's up, we want to go fish on that stock, and if one's declining, we want to leave that alone. That's how it always used to be.
Well, you got to create a balance. If you don't have that balance, and there is no natural balance anymore, let's face it, you know, these are resources. This is food. But if there is an imbalance, then we should go and correct that to try to keep it across the board. And that's the thing, man. It's a dangerous game of cards we're playing right now.
And I try to tell some of these kids that come out on the boat that is, you know, doing their data for the observer program and stuff. I said, you know, you studied this in school. You studied a model for 4 years. And by the time you got out and got a job and actually ended up in my boat, that model is invalid. The environment has changed that much. Global warming, pesticides, pollutions. I mean, we got a dead zone in the Gulf from stuff runoff from up in the middle of the country that has nothing to do with fishermen. That's just from stuff, you know, getting in the water and ending up in the ocean. We have no control over that. So there's a lot of
there's a lot of other factors, and it gets tiring when someone points the finger at you as a fisherman and says you're over harvesting. I mean, no, we don't set those regs. I don't set the quotas, you know. And I mean, here's an example. We're out here the last few years. We're fishing, and all of a sudden they went from 45% they were taking on our crab stocks, and so the stocks were decreasing. So they brought us down to 15%. Well, as they did the summer surveys, even at 15% that we were taking, 100% of the females were fertilized. So basically what I'm saying is that whether it was 45% we were taking and all the females were fertilized, or 15, they're all fertilized, the stock still declined. It's cyclical. And it was also predation that had a big impact on that. And the fishermen took the hit. And so and it's insulting to me, you know. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden the crab are starting to rebound. And they take the credit.
Oh yeah. It's a win-win situation for them.
But
crabs come back, it's look what I did, look what we did.
But the last few years, man, I mean, it was just like you had someone with a stranglehold around your neck, and that's not a good feeling when you know that you want to be conservative, you want to help the fishery, but you know what's going on. It's just you have to have that proof. And to change that, we need political power. We need a system that works.
We need education of America. They need to really know what's going on, and that's what the Deadliest Catch has done, which has opened up a whole door, hopefully, for straightening out this mess, because this industry is on a shoestring right now.
Exactly.
With the rising fuel costs and insurance costs, there's a lot of people that might not make it another 12 months.
Well, we don't want to see that.
No,
I don't want to see it.
That's going to hurt America. That's going to make you rely more on foreign imported seafood if you can't get fresh, locally caught wild seafood.
Right.
Which is the best thing you can put in your body. There's no steroids, there's no hormones, there's no contaminated feed. I mean, what better can you eat?
You can't get any better.
No, you can't.
No, and it's American, and it's good.
It is.
All right, man.
Hey.